Welcome back to the Final Takeaways podcast edition. We're about to talk about law and politics, so let's get straight to it. President Irfaan Ali signed a proclamation to dissolve the 12th Parliament on September 1, 2025, and that was in accordance with Guyana's constitution. This step is mandatory by law to pave the way for the presidential election to take place, which of course took place on September 1, 2025. After the election, Parliament, also called the National Assembly, must then be reconvened or reopened for business no later than 4 months after it was dissolved. And this is as ordered by the country's constitution. That should be no later than November 3, 2025, give or take a day or two based on how they calculate a full month. But here is where things could take an interesting twist. To properly reconvene or begin the new parliament by law, members of parliament representing all parties need to be sworn in by taking an oath of office. Guyana's newly elected opposition member of parliament of the We Invest in Nationhood Party, WIN, are eager to take their oaths of office to begin their new roles in the National Assembly. Before that happens, the leader of the opposition-elect must take the oath of office, which formally swears him into office as the duly elected and a bona fide leader of the opposition. That individual is WIN Party's leader Azruddin Mohamed. But it looks like there could be some challenges ahead moving on with the swearing-in process. You gotta stay with me to the end as I'll be disclosing what Mohamed's camp said. Then I'll highlight the government's position on reopening parliament. We'll also talk about what disqualifies someone from being sworn in as a member of parliament, mainly under Article 155 of Guyana's constitution. First, Mohamed. He's alleging that the People's Progressive Party is blocking his swearing-in ceremony. Days later after making that allegation, WIN's prime ministerial candidate, Tabitha Sarabo-Haley, in a lengthy statement echoed similar sentiments. In a press statement posted online, the WIN leader accused the PPP of stalling the reopening of Parliament when he wrote, quote, "The PPP knows what is at stake in 2030, and they want no challengers in Parliament. The PPP holds a majority. Why then are they stalling to convene the 13th Parliament and swear in the duly elected opposition?" As you may know, Mohamed is currently facing a slew of legal issues locally and overseas. Not only is he under U.S. sanctions, he's locked in a court battle with the Guyana Revenue Authority, GRA, on charges alleging fraud and tax evasion. Even worse, the U.S. is proceeding with criminal charges against Mohamed and his father, Nizar Mohamed. This shocking news came days ago. You guys can check out the 3 videos we've done so far on the indictment filed in a Florida court on October 2, 2025. The case file is the United States versus Nizar Mohamed and Azruddin Mohamed. Whether Azruddin's claim against the PPP is true or not, we're going to examine the prerequisites to be sworn into the National Assembly as a parliamentarian, which by the way cover a political party's leader who chooses to also function as an MP. And let's not forget, not so long ago, a president-elect with a slew of fraud charges was later sworn in as a president. Yeah, I'm referring to the now 2-term President Irfaan Ali. We're still going to look at Mohamed's claims in light of the legal issues he's faced with, to determine if by being charged for fraud and other crimes in the United States, Mohamed is legally barred from officially getting sworn in as the opposition leader or as a member of parliament, which could be the case once Guyana opens parliament again for its 13th session. But wait, why is this even an issue? It's not even 4 months since parliament was dissolved. Come on now. The ruling party could legally wait up to the last day to restart parliament. So hey, what's the rush? People think Mohamed should just take a chill pill. What is your view so far? Why are we speculating and jumping the gun here? And by we, I mean they. The government still has about 22 to 23 days left. Or do you think they intentionally put Mohamed on pause by dragging out the process? Word on the street is Mohamed is rushing to get sworn in as the opposition leader and member of parliament in hopes of getting the cloak of political immunity or blanket legal protection under Guyana's laws from the plethora of serious charges facing him right now, both in Guyana and the United States. Is that right? Meanwhile, getting back to Wynn's prime ministerial candidate, she eloquently addressed the matter when she explained the constitutional provisions in a lengthy statement posted online. Referring to the words of the Constitution under Article 155 and 156, she concluded that there is no barrier to making Mohamed the official opposition leader or a member of parliament. And by barriers, she meant nothing in the Constitution prevents someone who faces criminal allegations or indictment charges from entering into parliament. Here's what she said, quote, "Let us be clear. Nowhere in the Constitution of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana does it state that an indictment, whether domestic or foreign, bars a duly elected member of parliament from being sworn in or from assuming the office of leader of the opposition. The qualifications and disqualifications for members of parliament are clearly set out in Articles 155 and 156. An indictment is not among them." Finally, she says, there is nothing in law that prevents Mr. Mohamed from being elected to that office by his colleagues. Right now, the main problem for Mohamed that can potentially come up as an issue, as far as him being sworn in as an opposition leader of Guyana's National Assembly, is the recent indictment and charges by the United States. But take that with a pinch of salt. The sanction allegations and the charges in the U.S. indictment have not been proven. In other words, neither Mohamed nor his father have been found guilty of the alleged crimes, which involves gold smuggling, money laundering, and wire and mail fraud, as well as tax fraud. By the way, we looked at those parts of the Constitution referenced by Azruddin Mohamed. The Constitution in Article 155 pretty much says that anyone can be a member of parliament unless they are a citizen of another country or they pledge allegiance to another country, or if a court finds that they are clinically insane, or if they are serving a prison or death sentence. Of course, there are some exceptions to the law, but based on all we know so far, they do not apply in this instance to Mohamed. Meanwhile, Azruddin Mohamed also took jabs at President Ali by saying this, quote, "It is also worth reminding the public that this sudden moral panic over indictments is selective and hypocritical. President Irfaan Ali himself faced 19 fraud charges related to the sale of state lands before he ascended to the highest office in the land. Those charges were later discontinued, but they existed nonetheless. Moreover, his Canadian visa was revoked during that period. Yet, neither the PPP nor its supporters argued that Guyana would descend into constitutional chaos if he became president. So why the double standard now? The truth is that the Constitution must apply equally to all. If it was not a constitutional crisis for Irfaan Ali to become president while facing serious allegations, then it certainly is not one for Azruddin Mohamed to become leader of the opposition, even while under indictment. Anything else is pure political theater, her statement says. The bottom line here, guys, is we do not think there is an issue as far as it relates to Mohamed's accusation about stalling the swearing-in process. Even if he's trying to fast-track the democratic process, the criminal case in the U.S. is not likely to come up for trial before the first week of November, which is around when the Guyana Parliament is constitutionally due to begin its new session. Getting back to the allegations that the PPP government is stalling Mohamed's oath of ceremony to prevent him from carrying out his duties as opposition leader, Kaitier News publisher Glenn Lal weighed in by requesting transparency, integrity, and accountability by the PPPC government. In fact, Lal questioned the president's silence on the restarting of the National Assembly. He thinks they should have already announced the date to reconvene the 13th sitting of the National Assembly. Here's what he said, quote, "By the 4th week of September, there should have been an announcement that Parliament would meet either by the end of that week or early the next week." Lal says this constitutional step is crucial to governance as it helps the Guyanese people see that their business is being tended to after all the noise and promises of the campaign trail. But a statement by the Department of Public Information reassures the people that President Ali will open Parliament within the constitutional timeframe. Referring to the Constitution, the president reassured Guyanese that they can trust the PPP to respect the legal requirements guiding the process. Quote, I still have a lot of time in the Constitution to reconvene Parliament. I think it will take place in November within the constitutional time frame, Ali reassured the Guyanese public. And this was about 2 weeks ago. So what do you think, guys? Should Mohamed take a chill pill and let the process play out? No matter how you twist it or turn it, they gotta open Parliament for business by the first week in November. That's if my math is correct, and y'all know math ain't my thing. Guys, you know I appreciate all of you and your support, and I have to send special shout out to all of the new subscribers that came in this week. I think we're running into a couple of hundred so far. For now, stay tuned for what's coming up next.